It is time for a weekend market update, and Bitcoin has turned bullish over the past few days, actually cracking to about 116K, which is what I wanted to see in Bitcoin's price action. So that's a really good sign right there. What I want to see next is for us to stay above 113,000. We can range a little bit here for the next few days before we begin taking off again. I don't really want to see us moving towards the downside here. Instead, I want to see us leave people sidelined while this pushes up and people FOMO in, because that is typical of the ending of the cycle price action. So when a blow off top happens, we usually don't get too many dips like these. Instead, we get vertical price actions that accelerate more and more towards the end. And that's what I want to begin to see. We also have Bitcoin dominance actually breaking down today. It's retraced a little bit. As you guys can see here, we dipped to about 57%, really good to see, but then we came back up during a dip. That's totally normal. I do think we're going to have a couple of levels to watch out for Bitcoin dominance as we head towards the downside and alt season accelerates. We're looking at 54% simply because it was a major trigger back here at about 54% on the 30th of November. We saw that hit, and then we actually got a rip up on Bitcoin dominance. So most likely we're going to see some kind of psychological reaction there. And then the next place obviously is going to be around the 51 to 50% mark on Bitcoin dominance. I think we're probably going to see a big bounce on here, maybe up to about 60%, maybe lower, somewhere between this range. So give or take 5%, so a 10% bounce right there. And when I said 5%, I meant between 50 and 56, or a 10% bounce in terms of a move towards the upside. So that's what we're looking at right now. I think we have a little bit more lower to go on the Bitcoin dominance to about 56.7 before we get a meaningful bounce or a correction on the Bitcoin dominance. The thing with Bitcoin dominance right now is that we're not really seeing much price action in the alt. I think it's getting absorbed by Ethereum, XRP, and Doge. I think they're taking most of the liquidity, but as we head towards these lower ranges down here and eventually down to about 44, I do think the money's going to trickle towards the rest of the alts. I don't think that there's many people left in this space after this brutal Bitcoin dominance rise over the past 3 years, as Bitcoin has been increasing in price while altcoins have pretty much stayed the same unless you were trading meme coins. I think meme coins have had the easiest time during this period up to the end of 2024. After that, pretty much became a Bitcoin and Ethereum game, and we haven't really seen alts move in a meaningful way. But this is the kind of price action we want to see from Bitcoin dominance for alt season to begin. And if we take a look at Ethereum BTC, I don't think it's done much. As you guys can see, it's just trading sideways. If we get a flush to the downside, that would be totally normal. Ethereum still trading at $4,600 right here in this range, and we're still eyeing a potential flush down here. You guys see that I've got my entry about 36 to call it 39. If we get that entry, that's going to be a no-brainer entry for Ethereum. That's if we get it. Right now, we are sitting at 4,700, and while people are getting excited, this is not really anything to be excited about up until we break that top of 5,000. Once we get above there, that's something to get excited about, because what happens here is that every time they run the price to the upside, everyone gets excited, and then guess what happens next? They run to the downside, and everyone gets depressed. And the thing is, it's a very small range. There isn't that much of a range there. It's a 10% range, not much, but this is how the market works. It takes your money. When you get up here, people will long, and then it squeezes it down, people get liquidated, and they continue until money has stopped doing that, so they can actually move the price towards the upside to align with the grander plan. What is that grander plan? I have no idea. All I can tell is the direction we're heading in based on the chart. And right now, it's showing that we want to head up with a potential dip towards liquidity down here about 36 to 37, or 39, I should say, but nothing is guaranteed. This is just an opportunity if we get it. If we don't, we simply target higher for now, because that's what the chart tells us. Otherwise, Bitcoin would have broken down. As you guys can see, we tapped about 1.4, and then we had a massive rally. Do you think it's a coincidence that we came up to 4K, dipped down to 1.4, only to take out the highs? No, it's because people are exhausted here trading this range. You get the fake out towards the downside, and then you get the move towards the upside. So now we've established a new range, which is between 4K and 5K with the potential dip down here. And then we continue the move towards the upside to heading to 10K. I don't know if we're going to get there, because everyone and their grandmother is targeting 10K. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's either we overshoot 10K or we undershoot it. So 7.5 to 8K, or we actually go higher than people expect. So higher than this 10K number. I don't think we stop at 10K if we're going to target that. So yet to be seen, but that's currently what I'm thinking on Ethereum. Now let's take a look at total, specifically total 3, and see what's going on here, because look at what we've got. We've got a move towards the upside, attempting to breach all-time highs. So we are closer to alt season than ever before. The question is, are we going to see continuation, or is this just going to pull back and take more time? And based on what I'm seeing on other charts, I would say we get a little small pullback to about 1.07, if that. and then we continue to get going. I think we're very close to seeing this just pull one of these moves right here and move straight up. That was the wrong tool. One of these moves right there. Just straight up, leave everyone behind. A lot of people will buy here. A lot of people will buy here. And that's kind of counterintuitive, but these are the more, or I should say less experienced people who are buying at the top, whereas people who have been in the market a couple of cycles know how this thing goes. And we end up buying here, 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 or, even here in some of the alts. But the point is we don't buy at the top. Once we get to, 3 trillion or even possibly 4 trillion on the market cap side, I think that's going to be the exit point for this market. It's a little bit difficult to tell where we're going to head to, but we can use some Fibonacci's to figure that out. So last time using the Fib extensions, we topped at 1.618. 1.618 over here takes us to 2.41. We don't necessarily need to stop there, however, because these fibs can extend and multiply once again. So we can take a look at the other important fibs on here, which is going to be the 2.618 and the 4.236. That's going to be an extreme blow off if we get that. It's going to be an absolutely insane move. If we just measure the percentage move from the bottom to the top, that was a 5,000% move. But of course, there are diminishing returns. We measure that. That's about a 600% move for an asset class moving from 335 billion to 2.35 trillion. So there is a difference between where we are and where we were, because last time here we were at 30 billion as a whole for the market and we moved to 1 trillion. So that's a massive difference, and why I think this time around is going to be a lot smaller of a move, taking us to about 2.3, 2.2 or 3.35. I would say around this area is more reasonable rather than targeting for the 4.83, but we'll have to see how we react once we get up here. But definitely this is going to be, for me, regardless of what happens, a profit-taking spot. And that's going to be across the board. Even if we do go up here, I'll keep some up here and then take the rest off here, wait for the dip down here, and then we continue playing the game. We just don't want to be caught holding the bag all the way down and give back those profits, because it's a painful game and it takes a lot of time. And there's a lot of opportunity costs. So the idea here, take some profit off here, hold the moon bag, and then we ride it all the way again. So that's what we're looking at for the altcoins. All in all, guys, this is looking pretty good. We've been talking about markets going up for a long time now, and I've mentioned the coins I'm taking a look at. If we just take a look at Litecoin's doing its thing and holding steady. We didn't actually get the deep dip that I was looking for. That's okay. We're consolidating right now, and once we break 1.37, we're going to see us move towards the next target around 240, and eventually, you guys know I'm targeting these important levels, $1,000 and potentially 2,000. That's a bit of a stretch, but I do think we can see somewhere near there, even if it's 1,800 down there. So we'll take a look. CRV, you guys know I'm bullish. There's a ton of coins I've talked about that I'm bullish on. DeFi is a category, memes, and AI. You guys know the drill by now. I have exposure to all of them, and I'm simply waiting for the market to light that match so our winners can run and we can take profits and finish the game for this year. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys again next time.